Hi there, it's Roy from Sulphur City Sabers, and what we have in front of us now is a more recent design from our suppliers, which we have decided to call the Affine. Beautiful design actually on this one. It's a very decorative saber, and I think this one's going to be quite a popular model. This is going to be available from us in three configurations, which is the basic RGB baselet, our budget SM pixel installation, or our Profi pixel installation as well. We can get a Golden Harvest V3 installed straight from the factory. It kind of sits price wise between the SM pixel and the Profi, but although the GH V3 is not a bad board, it's not going to be our board of choice. We'd rather just stick with our three models. But if you are a Golden Harvest V3 fan and actually specifically want one in, just come and ask and we can arrange that for you. So yeah, a gorgeous design, this one. Obviously with all of the milling on the more decorative sabers, that takes more time to manufacture, a little bit more complex. So price wise this sits at around about the mid 300 range for the RGB baselet, and will be mid 400s for the SM pixel, and of course Profis tend to be a couple of $100 more expensive, so around about mid 600s for a Profi installed pixel version. So this saber is going to be good for collectors, cosplayers, and I'm going to say jewelers as well. If you're a jeweler, the only thing you have to be conscious of is the raised buttons, and this is something for anyone who jewels. You have to be conscious that your buttons aren't going to you're not going to mash them and accidentally deactivate your saber whilst you're dueling. And like I said, the slightly higher buttons does increase the chances of you doing that. So if you do buy this one for dueling, you have to be very conscious of your grip. Same could be said for sabers like Saber Trio, which have the larger 16mm activation buttons, as opposed to like the Saber Forge, which have the 12mm activation buttons. 12mm activation buttons you tend to be a little bit more fingertippy for turning on and off, whereas the 16mm AVs you can actually turn off accidentally as well. And of course anything raised like this you can accidentally turn off as well. So like I said, if you're going to be grabbing this for dueling, just be conscious of those raised buttons. If you think it's going to be an issue, maybe look at a different model with a more recessed switch. But otherwise, no, it's it's pretty cool, this one. So let's have a breakdown of the saber. Just breaks down into three parts, like so. So the pommel comes off, the body, and the emitter section is just one large section. Weight wise, it's a nice solid model. It doesn't feel light or tacky or anything, and perhaps a little bit front heavy, just with this nice chunky emitter. So I put a blade in it, you might find it's a little bit front heavy, so if you're not a front heavy fan, again, that's something to consider. There is enough space of course down here where you can actually weight your pommel as well, if you thus wanted to get this and just sort out that balance. If you're a mid-grade user, we don't warranty our mid-grade blades for dueling, but some people just like to use mid-grades and just accept the fact that there's a higher loss rate with those. Mid-grade, you're probably not going to have a problem with that. Something of note here, now in most cases, a lot of our sabers have the baselet model, and the baselet only has a single button and the other one is a dummy. This has a newer generation board in there, where it's kind of a mishmash between our old RGB baselets and the SM pixels. So SM pixels, well, I'll say that. So it's a bit of a mishmash. It's a baselit, but it's also has elements that you see in the 2-button SM Pixel activation. So you tend to have a power button, and you also have an auxiliary button as well. So power button is on and off. Auxiliary does effects, and the like also allows you to change through fonts whilst the Sabers off, turn your volume on and off, and a few other features as well. So yeah, so this I will shoot an operation video, and we'll add that to the listing very shortly. But otherwise, it's a really nice model. I was quite excited when I saw this. They're doing some really nice models at the moment. So, and if this is an example of some of the work that's coming out of the designers overseas, I look forward to seeing much more of it. Okay, if you've got any questions, just fire them through. I'll be happy to answer them. And of course, the operation videos you'll find further down in the product listing on the website. Okay, thanks very much. Bye bye.